different tools and how I like to utilize them. And so we're going to kind of jump into it with some DFS, right? We do have, it's Thursday, so we know PrizePicks is running some different specials and promos. I just dropped a better slip about 3 minutes ago over on my, on X. So you definitely want to take a look at that. But yeah, we got Thursday Night Football. Dolphins, Ravens. Should be a lot of points in this game, which I'm really pumped about. Very excited. And yeah, we got everything going on right now. Perfect. See, okay. So let's see. We're looking at PrizePicks. Let's start. We're looking at the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer, tool that I utilize a lot when it comes to my DFS plays. 3-pick minimum. I also like to use the sharp money. So for DFS guys in general, for PrizePicks, Underdog, there's numerous different tools I like to utilize. The Optimizer. I'll use the sharp money tool, and I will use the positive expected value tool as well, just to find plays. So kind of some different things that I like to utilize. So number one, for myself personally, OGs and DGens, the real ones know this. I'm not a fan of playing fantasy scores. So I just typically will select everything and then leave off fantasy scores. Using 3 minimum data points, that means I want to see at least 3 other sports books and their odds and their projections compared to the odds that we are receiving. So on this esports play with Boros, you could see that there's 29 is here on PrizePicks. You could see that there's 31, 30, 29.5 for the other books. So we would want to bet the over here on Boros. We're looking at Wendell Carter Jr. I think that as we get close to tip, which we are just under an hour away from the Magic and the Hornets, the over on his points and rebounds here, -140 on FanDuel. This is a value over here at PrizePicks. I definitely like this, right? Because Caesars and DraftKings both have this at 20.5. So to get this at 19.5, the bar is just set too low. We would definitely want to bet that over. What else do we have? Con, it's -156 over here on Pinnacle. I don't believe that MGM or Caesars is particularly sharp with NBA player props. So I'd bet the over on Wendell. I'd bet the under on Con. And I'd probably go with Boros. So I'm just going to fire up PrizePicks over here off to the side. Going to log in, and then we'll go ahead and throw this in. I'm sure we also have a promo that I'd like to just go ahead and utilize at the moment. We got to have something, right? It's Thursday. Doesn't seem like it. All right, that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this up really quick before the plays get bumped. And we'll go ahead, and then I'll share this with you guys. Carter on the over 19.5. Got to hurry before these get bumped. Having a hard time finding this play. They have it at 17.5. It seems like they bumped they bumped it to 20.5. It's already bumped. Dude, like this is so insane sometimes. So insane. It's so crazy. Stefan is under. It's like I spoke it into existence. So Wendell's already gone. Steph on his under. 36.5. Cool. How about Con? Con's still there. The under on his PRA. All right, and then we're looking for Boros. This is on CS2 Go. This is going to be a 3-pick entry, guys. No insurance. So we'll grab this. I'll throw this here, and then I'll share this with you guys. This Con play starts in obviously about an hour. So there we go. All right, coming your way. Go, 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 go. Did I grab that right? I hope that should be it. Check it out. What's up, Trent? Rick, what's going on? Yo to you, Rick. Jordan, what's your advice for managing your sports book and keeping money in all books at all times? I have an issue with loving NoVig, but having to wait for Robinhood to get my money and transferring it to NoVig. So, Jordan, I mean, it's a great question. I've always used my bank account with NoVig and have normally gotten paid out within a few hours when I execute a withdrawal. So I haven't ran into too many issues there when it comes to NoVig. But, you know, it just depends on the strategy. If your bankroll is under the size of $3,000 in your arbitrage betting, there are always going to be instances where you will have one balance very high and one very low. That will happen throughout the course of days or weeks. So moving money and managing that money is important to making sure that you're finding the right balance. Understanding which sports books pay out quickly, like an ESPN bet or a Fanatics or Bet Rivers, they pay out like within 5 minutes as soon as you execute the withdrawal. But other books like FanDuel takes longer than most recreational books. Understanding that timing is important, but if you love no vig, but you're waiting on time, I would say, either try a different method, or I would say, you just kind of plan ahead. At this point of the season, especially now that the NBA is here, you will be able to gain a feel for what sports books you are if you're arbitrage betting, you can gain a feel for what books you're arbitraging with more or less. There isn't kind of a one-size-fits-all strategy when it comes to managing your money in all of these books, but you will kind of gain an understanding of what books you are consistently depleting your balance on, and other books maybe you only use like 20% of the balance that you have in there, and you just want to kind of adjust that accordingly. That's what I would say. I don't know if that helps you out at all. Evening, Daniel. 49ers Faithful, what's going on? Skunky, que pasa way. What filters am I using for EV plays, Jay? Well, once we get to the EV tool, Jay, we'll share those. The filters for me aren't as important. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't even look at underdog. My apologies. The filters for me aren't as important as the actual plays themselves. The filters are really just kind of the parameters, right? Before we then go in and find some plays. So let's throw 3 minimum data points up here. We're looking at some 3-pick slips, guys. I'm a big fan of playing 3 picks. Some of my favorites. Shared a 3-pick prize pick slip just now. Let's take a look at underdog. Again, I'm just going to get rid of all the fantasy scores. And throughout this time, guys, with all the tools that I'm going to be showcasing on OddsJam, if you use code Billy35, you will receive a 1-week free trial. And then you also will receive a 35% discount on your first month after the 1-week trial ends. And I'll drop that link down here as well. If anyone in the chat has any advice for Jordan that's maybe worked well for you in the past, I'm sure that, Jordan would be open to any free advice. Nick Chubb, this is minus 118 on Pinnacle. I don't like this play. What do we got here? We talked about this Boros play. Obviously, guys, you could play the middle on this Boros play. We bet the over 29. You could bet the under 31. If my man lands on 30 or 31, we cash both. If he lands on 29, then you cash the under and underdog, and it's just a push on PrizePicks. So that's another strategy we like to play with middles. Again, PrizePicks and underdog, these are all parlay-based, apps. So there's not a guarantee that, you will hit all the middles on all these plays. But that's the overall general strategy, which is these DFS apps don't really know where to price or set the lines for the esports plays. And most likely, the source of truth is in the middle. If PrizePicks is over 29 and underdog's under 31.5, I think that somewhere in that middle will be where that will land. Now, if you watch a lot of League of Legends or Counter-Strike, different story, right? That means you probably have some insights. You most likely can beat these platforms if you just pay attention to it. But if you're like me and you don't watch any esports at all, then I'm leaning on that middle as being my source of truth. Franz Wagner, under 31.5 PRA. Yeah, I don't mind this. But the problem that I'm having is figuring out what else to pair with Franz. That's the problem. So the 28.5 here on Issa, okay. Let's do this one. Let's grab him. Let's do the under. Let's go Franz. Okay, and then is this the same matchup? It's the same matchup. Can't really do that. What else do we have here? Wendell, no. McCollum. We can go with McCollum. I'm all right with that one. Over 21.5 PRA. Okay. No insurance on these slips, guys. What do you mean you can't detect my location? We already went through this, dude. Bingo. There we go. All right, here's the 3-pick over here on Underdog. There we go. Anton, Billy C, you might be finding a good play for this $25 bet reset promo for ESPN bet whenever you got into positive eat. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. There we go. Ramo, appreciate the insights, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, we'll definitely take a look. I mean, obviously, if ESPN bet's running some type of promo, we're definitely going to want to take a look at that. All right, so there's the Underdog slip. Shared a better slip earlier here, guys. We're looking at DraftKings Pick 6. Honestly, I mean, I think there's 4 NBA games tonight. A little disappointed that there isn't more when it comes to this. A lot of different people like to use these tools in a lot of different ways, guys. So that's kind of the beauty here of the chat as well. If you're open to sharing different strategies, I'm sure that some people will be open to sharing their strategies with you. And that's kind of what the chat is designed for, is so that sharp-minded bettors can kind of collaborate and come together and kind of talk about what's working and what's not working. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and share some strategies, and you might receive some goodies back in return. Yeah, so Wendell Carter under 22.5. Okay, I'm fine with that. But what else can I throw this with? We talked about Khan. We got his under on his PRA. Not really a fan of this play. LaMelo, not really, even though it's good to Pinnacle. Okay, Wemby over on his threes. Let me log into DraftKings. Now that I found 2, I can get into this a little bit more. Aaron Wiggins, not really. Champagny. Champagny's a tough one, too. I don't know if they probably won't let me do Bennington, because I got to keep it all to the same sport. But right now, I like Wemby over on his threes. I like Wendell Carter under PRA. We do have a choose your boost tonight, guys. So I would take the NBA boost again over the NFL boost. There's more games going on in the NBA, which means we have more options. And I'm always interested in that. So I'm just getting this bad boy ready. And again, they already bumped the Wendell Carter play, so it's back to 21.5, which I don't really care for that. So this is kind of the problem at times. Wendell under on his points, though. I can get behind that because it's so good to FanDuel. And then we'll take Wemby. Wemby over on his threes. And let's go to the league and let's just select the NBA. Lou Dort. Just depends on Lou Dort and what he's doing with the 3 ball, because that's all he shoots. So if he's cold, we're looking good. If he's not, it's not. But we'll take his under 10.5 points. And I'll throw this in here for this. And all right, we'll take a look at Dabble as well. For those of you that are looking at Dabble, we'll share this slip with you guys. There it is. Patrick, yeah. So, you know, we've talked about this before, Patrick. I just mentioned, the filters are not everything. Now, back last year, the year before, the filters were more important to me. Now that we can see line movement, now that we can see liquidity into these books, the filters are very basic. As the kids would say, they're basic AF. So, I'm more than happy to share the filters, but things are always evolving in the sports betting landscape. So I'm not really like, man, if I set up my filters this way, I'm just going to smash all these plays. That's not the case anymore. So we'll get into that here in just a second. Yeah, so I appreciate you letting him know, man. Patrick's been on plenty of streams, so he knows. We'll get to it in a second. Appreciate that, SEC. Yeah, we did have a pick 6 play that cashed yesterday, which was awesome. We had the under on like RJ Barrett, the one dude that's got like 3 names for the Raptors, and then we hit the over on the dude, Jaden McDaniels, which was great. Let's see what else we got for my Dabble users. Again, I focus on playing 3-pick entries, guys. You'll just see less variance over there compared to anything else. And by the way, how about the Blue Jays? Love my Vladimir Guerrero Jr. over 1.5 total bases cash in the first inning. That was something. Seeing the Jays just jump on Snell. The series shifts back to Toronto. Honestly, I expect the Dodgers to win Game 6. Yamamoto has been unreal. By the way, we do have on pick 6, guys, a Derrick Henry free square, which is awesome. So don't forget about that with your free square. You basically then just have to hit on 2 picks. But they're going to have to be plays in that game. So I guess we'll go back to pick 6 after this to look at that free square play because I want to make sure we take advantage of it. And then we'll jump into some anytime goal scorers. I shared one play earlier, Dawson Mercer with the Devils, plus 250 odds. I believe he already shifted to plus 235, so we got some CLV on FanDuel. But hopefully you guys were able to tail that. Been an absolute insane run betting hockey props on FanDuel this month. Insane. 20% ROI. It's been really, really good. So, dabble 3 pick entries. I like the Hartenstein play. So the Caruso play's fine. Here's what I would say, guys. There is a scenario where both of these unders can cash. You know, I don't normally like betting the same guys on the same team on the same unders, right? But there is a world where both of these unders could play. So while I would normally like to play both of these because of that correlation, in my opinion, it's not going to work for us. It might work against us. So I would pick one of these two between Caruso and Hartenstein. And then for Goga, you know, we're getting a little of insurance here on the under 6. Pinnacle's at minus 118 odds at under 5.5. The under 6 is a big deal, so I'm fine going with Goga. Same thing here with Marvin Bagley. What's something else? Draymond on his points and assists. I like Draymond a little bit more on the under 15. I can get behind that. Honestly, Bam under 20, over 20.5 points. I like this more. So let's go Bam number 1. So I'll just kind of make my slip for you guys how I would probably go after this. I go 1, 2, and then I would take either Goga, Bagley, or I would take Draymond, right? Or I would swap out Hartenstein for Caruso, and then I would take Goga, Bagley, or Draymond. I'd kind of rock those kind of combinations. But I like Bam, and I like either the Hartenstein play or the Caruso play to go with Bam and then pair it with some of those other ones. Definitely a fan of that. Okay, so that's how we do it on Dabble. Can we find something for our NFL plays for the free square for Derrick Henry? What do we have? Okay, most likely it's probably going to have to be on today's game, I would imagine. So we could also just type in, and here in the search bar, I could just type in Ravens and see what we have pulled up. Okay, so Lamar and his rushing attempts, not great to FanDuel. Receiving yards for Henry, we might not be able to play him twice. Keaton Mitchell, it's 1 yard. It's hard to say there. Mark Andrews to get 30 receiving yards. I would probably go with Lamar under on his rushing yards. Lamar under rushing yards. Henry over on his yards. Honestly, I want to be on some overs because I think there's going to be a lot of offense here. So this is kind of just, if you want to go with Likely or Mark Andrews, this is, in my opinion, guys, more of your personal belief on which tight end do you think has it. In my opinion, Likely has more juice, younger kid, fresh legs compared to Andrews. So I would lean more Likely over on his receiving yards. Take the Henry free square. And then, yeah, that's probably where I'd go. I'd go Lamar under on his rushing yards. I'm not super excited about this, but I don't want to kind of pass up on the Henry free slip. The receiving yards, it's 1 extra yard. Again, we can't play that. So, yeah, it's okay. Not ideal. Not ideal. Yes, you got a 25% SGP boost. Aaron, what it just means is that in Odds Jam's opinion, these aren't profitable plays, that you don't want to play them. For me, I don't always believe in Odds Jam's algorithm and their formula. So I like to personally. That's why I haven't been using the AI slip generator much, because I like to personally look at like the odds and the plays. Let's jump over to the Sharp Money tool here. Again, you can also find plays, guys, on the Sharp Money tool in general. So, but that's how it kind of goes. Yeah, for Womblies, it's just something that I haven't been playing as much. That's something you want to keep in mind, guys. So just kind of like we talked about with Hartenstein and Caruso, you're betting both of them unders on their, one's points and rebounds and assists, the other one's rebounds and assists. So, they're on the same team. While there is a chance that it can work out, it's not always something that I like to pair together. And it's something that I like to be mindful of. So just think about those types of things, guys. Now, it's a little different. If it's correlated in terms of the over on the points, rebounds, and assists, maybe you could do that. Or if it's, Luka over on assists, but LeBron over on points, maybe you could see that because Luka's feeding LeBron the ball when LeBron comes back. I've been receiving some DMs, and so this kind of next portion of the stream, guys, is really tailored for the people that are still that are confused on the Sharp Money tool. Whether you've been using it for a while or maybe you just found out about it yesterday or today. So this is going to be kind of that portion for these people. So the Sharp Money tool, which there will be another video coming out. First and foremost, I'll share with you guys here in the chat. This is a link to the video that I made about 2 weeks ago going over the Sharp Money tool on OddsJam. So with this tool, guys, we have a belief that, remember, if we're talking about professional sharp sports bettors, if you have $1 million bankroll, betting on Hard Rock, betting on MGM, betting on ESPN Bet, that's not going to be able to get it done. If you are used to betting $1,000 to $10,000 on player props, because that's what your bankroll calls for, because there are people out there that are professional bettors that have $1 million, $10 million bankrolls, betting $1,000 to $10,000 on player props is what your bankroll calls for. If you consistently start firing off $1,000 or $2,000 bets on BetMGM, Bet365, Hard Rock, you will get limited instantly. These recreational books are not able to take on those types of bet sizes. So what do you do if you're a professional bettor? Well, you go to the exchanges like ProfitX, Kalshi, 4CX, Novig, Betfair. These exchanges, you can bet whatever you want on a prop. You want to bet 100 grand on a prop? Get after it. They don't care. So the idea behind this tool is that on the Blue Jays money line, Pinnacle's taking $20,000. Well, someone has $9,700 here on Novig ProfitX. Someone else has $6,300 here on Novig. Where we are able to identify certain plays is when certain bettors are placing bets beyond Pinnacle's limits. So on this Islanders Hurricanes play, this is a better example. Pinnacle's taking a max wager of $7,500. Well, this book over here on Novig and ProfitX, someone has $13,000 down. So the idea here is that someone is offering you to bet the under 6.5 on Novig ProfitX at plus 103 odds, which means they want the opposite side of this play. They want the over 6.5 at minus 103 odds. By the way, shout out to ProfitX. They just dropped their commission that they make off the bets. They even lowered it even further. So shout out to ProfitX, which is really, really cool. So here's an example of where I would and where I would not take certain plays. Okay, let's look at this Chargers play. Okay, there is, between these two plays right here, there's $15,000. I don't give a shit about these plays on Novig and ProfitX. Why? Because Pinnacle's taking $20,000. So the amount of money that a sportsbook is taking is the amount of confidence that they have in a play. It's just like if I told you, yo, man, I'm going to bet on the Warriors to win the basketball game tonight. And you're like, cool. How much you want to bet on it? And I'll be like, I'll bet you $1. How much confidence do I have betting in the Warriors to win the basketball game if I'm willing to bet $1? Compared to if I told you, hey, man, let's bet on the Warriors game tonight. And you're like, all right, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I'll bet on the Warriors and I'll bet $1 million on the Warriors. So what is the difference in my confidence level compared to betting the Warriors at $1 compared to $1 million? So the amount of money that these sports books are willing to take, and specifically the sharp sports books, indicates to us the amount of confidence that they have in their odds, in their pricing. So in this example, for the Ravens and the Dolphins, we have to rely on 2 or 3 separate bets to get us to this $24,000 mark. Pinnacle's taking 20 grand. It's not that impressive to me. But in this Islanders-Hurricanes game, Pinnacle's taking $7,500. Someone just all on their own is willing to bet $13,000, which is almost twice the amount that Pinnacle's taking. So there is something in the water here with this play where I would say, yo, this guy wants to put 13 grand down and he's willing to get the minus 103 on the over 6.5 Islanders Hurricanes. Well, guess what? We can get a better price on Camby than what that professional sharp bettor wants. We can get it at plus 100 odds. That's the basis of the sharp money tool. So, I've had people send me screenshots, and I think something that you need to pay attention to is what's Pinnacle's limits, right? On the Saints-Rams play, this is a play that I'm interested in taking. Why? Pinnacle's only taking $2,000 on this play. Well, some dude got 10 grand on it. I'm willing to take this over on Sport Trade, right? I'm willing to take that bet. On the flip side, if I'm looking at the Cardinals on the point spread, Pinnacle's taking 20 grand. And there's like $10,000 on this play. And if you add these two together, there's $19,000. Still not impressive enough to me. So paying attention to Pinnacle's limits is very important, right? If I see this play on the Vikings and the Lions, I don't care about this at all. And that's just my point of view, guys. But understanding where Pinnacle's limit is, and then the sharp money number that you're getting this at is very important. Yeah, Nito, using the low holds tool for pick six is a great way to use it. No doubt about that. Zach, if they're only making 1%, they're still making 1%. So the more money that's wagered on that platform, they're still making good commission, right? Maybe they've gotten more financial back. It's hard to say, man. I don't work at ProfitX. You're asking the wrong guy. Good question, just asking the wrong person. Sport Trade doesn't. Sport Trade is also an exchange. So it's only available in Arizona. It's actually licensed here in Arizona, so it's going to be here for a while. But Pinnacle, Kalshi, Novig, ProfitX, 4CX, Sport Trade, they all offer this. So this is how I would dissect it. And that's why I think this is such a sharp tool when it comes to player props. So if you're looking at Pinnacle's limits, you want to say to yourself, yo, man, I want at least $1,000 Pinnacle limits. Okay, that means most likely that you're going to exclude their player props. Pinnacle takes between $250 to sometimes $1,000 on player props, right? Or in this case, if you want to go after liquidity, that means that's the sharp money that you want to see out there. So if you want to see a bare minimum of $5,000 liquidity, that means this is the green number here. That's the amount of money that is being put up by a sharp sports bettor. So if you type in a certain number, it's going to give you certain ideas, right? That's what we want to look for here. So that's kind of how you use the sharp money tool. It's a fundamental belief. It's completely different than positive EV betting. Some of these plays that are on the sharp money tool are positive EV because the price is just so good. But the fundamental belief is that you believe that someone that's posting $10,000 or $15,000 of liquidity on a play, they have a model that they're using. They're a sharp bettor. That's the beautiful thing about this tool. So how I would set this up if we're looking for player props, right? And I know, guys, I'm kind of moving at a snail's pace here, but I want to make sure that you guys understand these tools, right? They're awesome tools, but understanding them is very important. You can obviously pick your sports books that maybe you want to place bets on or you just have accounts with, right? And if I want to look at a Pinnacle limit, maybe I'll go $250 because I know that will bring in some of the player props. And then for the minimum liquidity, let's go $1,000, right? And then date range would be for today. So I have 13 results down here. Now, I don't have any minimum maximum odds. That's okay. So, here's the idea, right? Wemby. We're looking at this play for Wemby, right? $500 Pinnacle limit. Somebody put down $2,800, and they want his under 12.5 rebounds tonight, okay? So, if I see this, and I'm like, yo, if I add in the 2,800, let's just say it's 2,800, right? Well, Pinnacle's taking 500. This is a 5.5x multiplier, meaning this guy's putting down 5.5 times the amount of money on Pinnacle. So for those of you out there why wouldn't this guy just bet this on Hard Rock? Well, dude, he can't bet almost $3,000 on a player prop, most likely, on the recreational books. That's why these exchanges exist. So if you see a multiplier like this, I have a lot of confidence that this is actually not just a rich guy who's a fan of maybe the Heat and wants to fade Victor Wembanyama. This is someone that wants to bet this. So now you can bet this at a better price or the same price that he wants it at. But also, guys, I would be willing to go after this at a slightly worse price. maybe at Bet Rivers. I don't know if I'd go at minus 108. I was hoping for like a minus 105. But if you wholeheartedly believe that this is a sharp better, if you can find plays on this tool, like on Castle, that are, maybe at plus 110. This guy wants it at plus 107. This can give you a bit of a range sometimes. Some of these plays, you might not be able to find it within that range, right? Other times, you might be able to do so. So this is where I love these types of plays, because this is like a 4 to 5x multiplier of Pinnacle's limit. So we're not just saying, $700 sharp money compared to $500 of Pinnacle limit. That's acceptable. I want multipliers. I want 3x, 4x, 5x, and beyond. That will provide me a lot of confidence, right? And so that's how I like to utilize the tools. This is also what you can expect to get when you work with me one-on-one in my coaching programs. We really dive into the nuts and bolts of the step-by-step tutorials of what I look for, how I look for. Take notes. Videos are recorded. You receive transcribed notes. If Steven's in the chat here, we chatted about a week and a half ago. He's already up $1,200 from my coaching program. So I'll drop a link, guys. If you want to book a call, we can kind of talk about where you're at in your sports betting journey, where you live, what sports books that you have available to you, and we can kind of set that up. It's a free 30-minute call. We could see if one of my packages is right for you. So there we go. Joshua, would I bet the Carolina over? You bet your ass I'd bet the Carolina over. Yes, sir. All day long, I'd bet that Carolina over. Now, again, guys, the sharp money tools, like the positive EV tool, just because you place a bet on 1 or 2 bets does not mean that every single one of these wins. But the more times that you follow the sharp money tool, you're going to see profits over the course of the long run, because you are believing that the person on the side that's posting crazy liquidity is a professional bettor, right? And I'd be willing to bet that the more people that are putting high liquidity on these plays, they're not just rich people that are bored. They're sharp bettors. Something that was added, guys, that's going to be coming out for all Platinum members starting next week, should be next week. If you are a Platinum member, you will start to see the new and finally here, Positive EV Formula Builder, where you can now create a customized formula for whatever markets, whatever leagues, sports that you want to wager on. So for myself, I'm looking at some NBA player props, right? We can select up to 10 leagues if I want to. I'm using player props, NBA. I'm using worst case scenario. Here's my odds range, right? It's just a very blanket odds range. But now I can say, I think FanDuel is sharper than Pinnacle. I got 70% of my weight on FanDuel, 30% on Pinnacle. This is another little thing, guys, that you can utilize with the Platinum plan. Now, right now, I'm only showing bets when there's Pinnacle and FanDuel both have odds on these plays. If I wanted to just say, give me plays where it's just Pinnacle or FanDuel, we can do that. So I have 5 results right now. So Wemby under on his player-made threes. You can see that FanDuel and Pinnacle have very similar odds on this play. When I open this play up, this is just way off to these other 2 books. I would want to bet this on Props Builder. So I'm going to go ahead and log into Props Builder right now, and I'm going to place a bet on Wemby under on his player-made threes. This is a custom EV formula that now is going to be available if you are a Platinum user with OddsJam. It'll be starting next week. Giving you a little sneak preview, a little teaser, a little taste. Obviously, you guys can tail these plays, but this is something that I'm very excited about. So if you have certain beliefs in maybe a DraftKings and Circa, they're really sharp for, NHL shots on goal, then you can create custom formulas here and save your filters based off those formulas. Trent, there you go. Your landscaper told you put 10K liquidity on Novik. Bro, check them out then. Could be worth it. Again, guys, the sharp money tool is the biggest thing about the sharp money tool. It's what you believe. Do you believe that there's just a lot of rich people that like to bet on the sharp money tool that post crazy liquidity? You can do that, right? Then don't use the sharp money tool. That's fine. You can use the EV tool, the low holds tool, the arbitrage tool to find your sharp plays. If you are in the camp of you do believe there's a lot of people out there that are betting, that are pros, that trying to get their money down and filled on these exchanges, then naturally the sharp money tool can be very helpful for you. So I'm just going over here and taking a look at this Wemby play. And where's he at? He's down here. Perfect. OddsJam's telling me to bet just $100 on this play. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit above and beyond that because I like this. And there we go. All right. So I'm going to bet this over here, courtesy of the EV formula between Pinnacle and FanDuel. All right. What else do we have? Gary Trent Jr., $300 liquidity. Again, this is a little bit lower of an EV edge play. But the idea now here, guys, is we can finally use a blend, right? What you've been seeing from me for the past, 2 years of live streaming is that I've been using a blend in my head. We look at a play, I look at FanDuel, and I say, all right, well, I think the FanDuel sharp for NBA player props, but I like to consider Pinnacle. Right now, you just you had to pick. Now we can finally have this blend. If I want to drop this down to say, you know what, FanDuel or Pinnacle, I'm willing to take a look. You have to give it some time. It's going to load up the opportunities. It's not instant, but just give it some time. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to log into ESPN Bet to take a look at this. Anton was telling me about this kind of promo they got going on. I know, Trent. It's no, but Trent, you bring up a really good point. I know you're playing, brother. I'm not mad. It's just that, honestly, it is a fundamental belief. It's a difference. You're really in my opinion, one or two camps. You either think that the whole sharp money tool is a crock of crap and that it's not worth anything, and that, it's just a ploy by OddsJam to make more money. Or you're like, yeah, I do think there is something there. It's okay if you guys aren't into it with the sharp money tool, but I definitely just want to present that. But I appreciate that, Trent, because there are some guys out there that are just got a lot of money. They want to bet on sports. But I would imagine, guys, that the people out there that have a lot of money that just like to recreationally bet on sports, they're probably VIP members in DraftKings, right? They use their FanDuel DraftKings. You got to really be in the know and in the weeds like everyone here is on the chat to know about the no vigs and the Betfairs and the sport trades and the 4CXs. So in my opinion, I think it's an incredibly sharp tool. I'll give this a second, guys. While we're doing this over here, let's take a look at the arbitrage tool. And it looks like there's a 50% profit boost for the Mint Club ESPN bet, which is pretty cool. Let's jump into the promos here. Anton was saying what? 25 bet reset promo for ESPN bet. Okay. So I'm seeing place a 10% cash pay or any team coming off a bye. It's a week 9 challenge. The profit boost, SGP 50% profit boost. 30% Thursday night profit boost. I might have a different promo than you, Anton, but definitely want to say if it's an exclusive bet, maybe not. There is a lot of boost here on ESPN Bet. I will say that. There's a lot. Cool. Okay, we're definitely going to take advantage of this SGP boost. It's better than if you haven't linked up your Mint Club to ESPN Bet, they do offer some pretty good stuff. We also have first touchdown insurance. Get 50% up to $20 back in bonus bets. Bet $10 on to score the first touchdown. So this is on ESPN. There's some other things going on here, guys, in terms of that. I would definitely remove Onyx at the moment. Some different things going on with Thursday Night Football that we want to take advantage of. Definitely with FanDuel, I have to imagine they're running their $1 million bonus bet thing again. Yeah, they got the jackpot. We definitely want to take a look at that. So, okay, let's take a look at this. I might have to sign up. I might have to sign up for Bracco. We got Colin Sexton right now with FanDuel and DraftKings. 6-7% boosts. These look really tasty. Again, just choose the books that you have accounts with, guys, and we're placing 2 bets on 2 books and just securing in value. This left-hand green side, this is your return on your investment that you can make. The more books that you have accounts with, the more money that you can make. By the way, also, OGs, DGens, apologies. You guys have heard this a million times, but if any of you have found any insights into this live stream thus far, please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out more than you know, and it goes a long way. Helps push these types of videos and my videos out to the algorithm to other sports bettors. And honestly, guys, the enemy is the sports books. So the more that we can band together to beat the living wheels off the books and make as much money as we can, that's the ultimate goal. And so teaching sharp sports betting is my passion. It's what I love to do. So if you guys can give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, it helps out a lot. Share it with anyone that you think that would maybe find this interesting or helpful. This is how you beat the books. With data-driven sports betting. All of these strategies with all of these tools all come back to one foundational thing, which is data-driven. It's all about just using the sports books against themselves. And this is where arbitrage betting really helps out. So ideally, guys, when you're kind of coming over here to arbitrage betting, you just want to pick a couple books that maybe you have accounts with. It can be a little overwhelming when you first get started if you've selected like 7, 8, 9, 10 books. So maybe just focus on a couple that you know that you can maybe have a really good time with. FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, Caesars, and maybe you're like, all right, well, maybe the ROI is not great here, but maybe this is a play that you go after with Anthony Black, right? If you wanted to mess around and see. Some things that I like to do, guys, is I just like to click the different books and I just pay attention to the results. I'm like, okay, what happens if I remove Caesars? Okay, only 2 results. Okay, what about MGM? 1 result. Who cares? Okay. ESPN bet, 1 result. All right, looks like FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet Rivers is something we want to hold on to. What about Fanatics? 20 results. How about Hard Rock? Dude, 54 results, right? Now, we know about Hard Rock. This is why I clicked it here. But if I click off Hard Rock, watch my results. Oh, so what does that mean? If you have Hard Rock, you definitely want to arbitrage bet all day long, right? All day long. Honestly, I would, if I was with me and my friend, I'd have my friend chill in the Hard Rock parking lot, and I would be like, dude, load up your FanDuel, load up your DraftKings, and then I'm just going to call you while I'm in there, and we're just going to go through these. And I'm going to have the guy on the phone be like, listen, bet this right now, Anthony Black, bet this under, I'll bet the over, right? These are all little things that I would do if I was at like a Hard Rock casino and I had a buddy and he kind of chilled in the parking lot, and I went into the casino to place the bets on the player props. Just a little 2-man operation if you guys wanted to rock something. But come out to Arizona, we can go do it. Be a lot of fun. So this is where I would go and maybe just hit up Hard Rock, right? So some different plays. Okay, so the EV tool loaded up. So this is more of a FanDuel or if it's and we're going to look at some NFL plays here really shortly. But if FanDuel or Pinnacle, we're looking at some certain plays. Alex Caruso under on his steals. Okay, maybe that just disappeared. That's fine. Obviously, Fanatics is going to be an easy book to make money off of, guys. This is almost a low hold to FanDuel, so I would go bet this over on Fanatics. This sometimes, guys, it's really simple. This sticks out like a sore thumb. Go bet Case and Wallace over 1.5 steals. You can see a lot of steals popping up right now. Fanatics, Hard Rock, SGA over on his steals. Again, because we lowered our percentage down, this means either FanDuel or Pinnacle would be the book that we would want to go after with this plays. If you want to see both FanDuel and Pinnacle side by side, then just kind of slide it, right? Aaron Wiggins, we know that Pinnacle doesn't offer rebounds and assist markets, but they do here on DraftKings. What about Onyx? Can we get this over there? Doesn't look like it. So when we click into FanDuel, I want to see movement from FanDuel. We have some movement. The movement's not great. It was great about 3 hours ago. You could see they fell off a cliff. They went like this 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago. Right now, it's just okay. But again, it's a very big price discrepancy between these 2 books. But this is kind of the cool thing with the custom EV formula. If I reset everything and I come over to my save filters, let's take a look at some NHL player shots on goal, some goal scorers tonight. What do we got? Pasta, Circa. If you live in Vegas, hit this up on Circa. There is a profit boost on the NHL, but it is a same game parlay, so I don't really like that. Outside of Pasta, normally, guys, I'm going after plays that are 3% EV edge or higher. Make sure I have all my books selected. Just select them all. Yeah, okay. Here on FanDuel for Dylan Larkin, this is about a 2% EV edge play compared to Pinnacle. It's fine. It's really on the cusp of, you could play this if you wanted to. Honestly, guys, I don't go after anything that's below 3%. I know I'm very picky. But, that play earlier today with Dawson Mercer, that was really, really good at plus 250 odds. But at the moment, none of these plays really I'm going after. But as you can see, the reason that I focus in on an odds range of minus 150 to plus 250, we're getting after some of the best goal scorers in the league. Pasta, Larkin, Leon, Johnston, right? Maybe not our NH, but still, these guys are elite goal scorers. Now, we're looking to bet the under on Pasta. I don't normally bet unders. I always bet overs. So Dylan Larkin could maybe be in consideration. I'm probably going to pass on him, but if you wanted to, I'm fine with this play. So unfortunately, not a ton, even though there's a lot of games at the moment. Let's take a look and let's jump into the NFL. And let's go after some of these boosts on FanDuel and ESPN Bet. And I'm sure DraftKings has some stuff going on too that I'm just not aware of just quite yet. Let's see what we got. So for FanDuel, I'll jump into this more info over here. This is to use on an anytime touchdown score. We've talked about this jackpot boost that they run, right? My philosophy on this play is that I like to go after players that are not the popular guys. I don't like to bet Derrick Henrys or Lamar Jacksons or even Devon Achans. I like to go after maybe an Ollie Gordon or maybe an Isaiah Likely. Guys that are unlikely to not be picked or scored, right? Because we're only betting $5. Remember, guys, here it is, minimum $5, right? If you wager more on this play and hit, you don't receive more bonus bets. So I just play the bare minimum $5 unless the play is very positive EV. So all I do is come over here to touchdowns because this is really just betting on an anytime touchdown score. So it just has to be either the first or the last touchdown score. And all I'm looking for right here is for FanDuel to be in really like a dark, bright green. That's all I'm looking for. So Cedric Wilson, maybe, but there's no Pinnacle or Circa odds. So I'll stop and tell you one that I like when I find it, if I find it. Okay. Okay, so the play that I'm most likely going to go with, and it's not a crazy long shot, I'm either going to go after Rashad Bateman or Malik Washington. Ollie Gordon's not bad, but there's no Pinnacle odds, and I prefer Pinnacle's odds. I really do. Where's Malik? He's up here. I would say the value looks to be a little bit better on Rashad Bateman. Maybe. Pretty similar. But I'm okay with this. Bet online, Pinnacle's the same, Circa's a little bit higher. So I'm going to go with Rashad Bateman as my guy. Make sure you claim this, guys. Please make sure you claim this. Let me refresh the page. Okay, we're in. Touchdown jackpot. Got it. Let's go to the event. And touchdown scores. Rashad Bateman. Plus 320. Make sure that this pops up. And then, remember, it can be whatever you want, but I'm just going to bet $5. And there we go. Pretty simple. We hit a couple weeks ago on Jonnu Smith when my Steelers took on the Bengals. See if we can do it today. We won $50 or $60, sorry, in bonus bets. So we'll go with Bateman. Now, a little different when we're looking at first touchdown scores over on ESPN Bet. So, first touchdown score. Similar, though, we're looking at ESPN Bet over here, and we're hoping that they show in bright green. And not a surprise. They're not. Though ESPN normally has some decent odds when it comes to first touchdown scores. So, again, if you guys have a certain opinion on who you think is going to score, that's fine. But I'm really just going to look at Circa and say, what do we got here? Can we get better odds than Circa on ESPN Bet? That's the goal here. We can on DeAndre Hopkins. Okay. It's not great, but again, it's fine. And it's really just to take advantage of this boost. That's really what it all comes down to. So we're going to receive insurance. We get 50% of our bet back, guys, up to $20. So we're going to receive $10 back. So it's not all that bad. So right now the play would be Hopkins. This isn't so much an actual plus EV play. Rashad Bateman again. I don't want to go Bateman. I could double down on Bateman. It's not my preferred method. Yeah. Or Zay Flowers. Okay, Zay Flowers. It's a better play on DraftKings, but I would go after Zay Flowers in this spot because it's 700 on Circa, 850. So we'll go with Zay. First time touchdown. And I don't think anyone's going to be too upset. It's not a crazy long shot play. Where's the popular ones? All right, so first TD score over here. Let's pull myself up to the top. Chat's popping off right now. Good to hear, Jordan. Jay, hard to say. I mean, I've placed some bets on the sharp money tool, but I haven't placed a lot. Also, we don't track all. I don't have like a tracker that tracks every single sharp money play. It's a good question. So I don't know like every play that's been recommended on the sharp money tool, like how that's performed. But yeah, so it's kind of a TBA, I would say. Zay Flowers, and I think it's $20. Just want to make sure I grab this. I want to say it does. Overtime protection. Yeah. Yeah, I want to say it is. All right, in progress. Here we go. All right, cool. We're good. All right, so we'll throw $20 on Zay Flowers. There we go. So we'll throw this over here on the tracker. Yeah, maybe, Anton. Might be a Mint Club thing. Skunky, I've been tracking it. It's in my bet tracker. I haven't exported my bets because, honestly, I've probably placed like only 20, maybe 30 bets from the sharp money tool. So I have not placed a ton of pregame bets. And, you know, I can't really make, it's a good question, but I can't make an assumption of how it's been performing until I probably hit 500 to 1,000 bets. And then I can really give my synopsis. So I could probably get back at me by the end of this year, and I can probably give you some better numbers on how that's been performing. Let me log into DraftKings to see what else we have going on and see what we have going on just in general for some EV plays. If I take a look at any time. Okay, Morgan Geeky. Ho-ho! Okay, Morgan Geeky, my best friend. My man's been cashing me money left and right. I'm literally 4-0 this month on Morgan Geeky anytime goal scores. Guy's been my best friend. So we're going to bet Morgan Geeky right now on FanDuel. Again, things can always change. Plus 220 odds, $70. So I'm going to go above and beyond this, guys, because so this is something that I definitely want to talk about with you guys and when it comes to this. So OddsJam is telling me, hey, man, you should only really be betting $70 on this play. But I know throughout the entire month, I have just been crushing NHL anytime goal scorers. So this is one of those instances, guys, where if you know, whether it's Pickett or your OddsJam dashboard is telling you that you've been crushing, I don't know, NFL player receiving yards the whole month, then it would be well worth your time to wager more than the recommended bet size. Wager 1.5 to 2 times more your recommended bet size, because I have a lot of data that's telling me that I'm fuego right now, super hot on betting this market, that I should bet above and beyond. Now, I'm not going to wager $500 on this play, but wagering 1.5 to 2 times more your recommended bet size on plays or in markets that you know you've been dominating, that's another way to scale up your growth a lot faster, right? You're betting plays that you know you've been crushing on. That's where I would go after it. Skunky says, been placed about the same. I'm down about $150 on it. Nito says, have about 300 bets tracked with sharp money. I do know that TD props there have lost me 20 units. Overall, I'm still up, but without that market, I would be killing it with the software. Good to hear about that. Will says, I placed about 1,000 bets on it this month, and I'm having one of my best months. Really good on NFL player props thus far. NBA hasn't been that great so far, but I'm up $3K this month. Will, I really appreciate you sharing that. Skunky, Nito, also appreciate those insights. That's great to hear that it's been going very well for you on NFL props. You've been betting a lot of it, and you're up $3,000. And even with, maybe one specific market that's been crushing you, you've been doing really, really well. That's awesome to hear. And I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as I love to say. So you can use the sharp money tool, guys, or we could come over here and say, all right, well, let's just look at like Pinnacle. Let's go worst case. Let's just clear everything out. Let's grab some football. I'll leave open the main markets, though. It's probably not going to be worth our time tonight. And then, I'll go with my minimum max odds range. Again, guys, like I said before, if you're willing to share some things like Skunky, Nito, and Will, people are willing to kind of come back with you and say, hey, here's what's working for me as well. Check this out. Check that out. I think it's very impactful. So if we're looking at some plays today, right? There's going to be some plays that, like this Lamar Jackson play on PrizePicks. There's $57 of liquidity. Don't really need to overthink it too much. I would be happy to go after those plays, okay? I'm not using the EV formula right now, guys. I'm simply just devigging the Pinnacle. Malik Washington, under on his catches. This is an ARB to Pinnacle, so crossed market. It's an ARB to Circa. These are really good indicators that you would want to go after a play like this. Now, maybe I don't wager $220, but I'd probably wager between $150 to $200. This game starts in an hour and 20 minutes. So not too shabby of a time to go sit down and get some bets. If I wanted to say, hey, maybe I can grab Keaton Mitchell because I know that Hard Rock runs this really good promo, 3-leg SGP. So I'll grab a Keaton Mitchell and I'll grab a Malik Washington. And they already switched their odds. Yeah, that was super juicy EV there, man. That was really, really good. So we'll just hide this play. It's not plus 150 anymore. What else do we have? Now, this Lamar play on his passing completions, a little different story. There's $1,300 over here on No Vig, right? There's $1,700 on PrizePicks. Now, Pinnacle's taking $1,000 right now. So I'm not completely scared about Pinnacle's liquidity, right? Because it's not like they normally are. As we're getting closer to game time, they're taking $1,000 on player props. So $1,300 No Vig, $1,700 PrizePicks. I don't know. Maybe I'd probably just bypass this one, say no thanks. Right, but on Bet Openly for likely over on his catches, Zay Flower over on his catches. I don't think I have any more money on Bet Openly. I do like this. $300, $200, that doesn't scare me. Hopkins on his catches, $45 doesn't scare me. Tanner Connor, all of these plays, even Achane, these don't scare me. Okay. Bateman over catches, the under 53.5. Let's grab this over. And I'll be happy to grab this under because Pinnacle's taking 20K. And this would be my 3-leg parlay right here over on Hard Rock. Now, the reason that I'm running this over on Hard Rock, they have a really good boost that even with the SGP correlation, guys, it's still well worth it for me to place. It's $50 max bet for me for now. And what I typically like to do with Hard Rock is like, I know I can beat this book. So what I try to do is place some SGPs and mask my sharpness a little bit, if you will, right? So I'm just going to come over here to Hard Rock and I'm going to cook this up and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to throw this in for $50. And then I'll just change this. Should be getting plus 701 odds. We'll do this a little differently. So we're looking for Mitchell over on his rushing yards. Plus 100 odds. I'm looking at what? Bateman over 2.5 catches. I like betting the overs on these games, guys. I think it could be a higher scoring game, though I am taking an alternate on the under. What's under 53.5? Cool. And now I receive this profit boost. And there we go. So I'm getting this at plus 700 odds, which is still fine. It's not as good, but it's fine. It's almost just as EV. So I'll take that, and I'll throw this on my slip. So throw this 50% SGP boost over here on Hard Rock, and there we go. Good to go. What else we have here? Yeah, that's pretty much all that I would stick with this. If you wanted to grab this on Fanatics, guys, the under 56.5 is easier to grab. How about Ollie Gordon on his rushing yards? This is a lower EV edge play. But again, Pinnacle's taking $1,000 on this right now. We're looking on the over on his 18.5 rushing yards. Ooh, yeah, we like this. Look at what Pinnacle just did like 10 minutes ago. They were at minus 112. They moved to minus 125. I would go over to Ballybet all day long, though I am limited on Ballybet. I would still go over to Bet Rivers and bet this at minus 110. That's fine for me. I don't mind this at all. So let me go over and grab some Ollie Gordon over on his rushing yards. I like that movement from Pinnacle. Again, guys, it's just confirmation from a book that, you know, we got some things going in our favor. So player rushing yards, and this is just for Ollie just to hit his over. And I'll just go in for $110 here. See if they let me grab that. They do. Very nice of Bet Rivers. Appreciate that. Again, it's a lower edge play. but that's fine for me. Oh, cool. I'm okay. And I like that. The reason I went a little bit above my recommended size, guys, just because of the movement from Pinnacle recently. So nothing super ideal here at the moment. When we come back over here, if I move this over to FanDuel and I look at some NBA player props, we got a lot, right? And I'm really just going to remove Hard Rock because it's they're kind of annoying. You'll see when I remove Hard Rock, guys, I go from 250 results to still 250 results. There's just a ton of results. Wait a minute. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, obviously, Bovada, guys, a really good book to go after. Colin Sexton under on his PRA. This is minus 194 on FanDuel. Looks like Props Builder is way off. Oh, yeah, baby. This is what you want to see when you're betting player props. This is why using your PC or your laptop is just so helpful. Look at this drop from FanDuel. They went from like minus 112 to minus 194. On Colin Sexton under PRA, this is over on Props Builder. So, yes, please. Give me some of that. I'm going to go over to, I don't know. We'll go to BetDSI. And I'll go to BetDSI's Props Builder. Yeah, it makes sense, Will. Makes sense. One thing, guys, that I would definitely lean on as we get later into the NBA season, this is just in general with FanDuel. FanDuel becomes a lot sharper as the season goes on. So using them as your sharp, I think, will be helpful as we get later into the season, meaning that it's early in the NBA season. You can beat FanDuel right now at this game, but I think as we get later into the season, you'll be able to have a really good time. Looking at, the Hornets, Colin Sexton. Where's he at, bro? Am I looking at the right game here? PRA? Unless they moved him. They might have removed this play. I'm looking at his over-unders. I'm really dumb sometimes. Do we have the right? I thought. Yeah, it's not there. It's not there. They're not showcasing it anymore. And that was, unless I can't find, I don't know where this is on Props Builder, but I'm looking for it right now on the over-unders because we're looking to bet an under, and it's just not there. So they might have removed it. It's fine. We'll move on. What else do we have? You can see there's a lot of Bovada plays, guys. If you haven't checked out Bovada, check it out. First quarter player points, not normally a market that I go after. But you can here with Desmond Bain if you want to. A lot of Sports Zeno plays, a lot of Bovada plays. Oh, Draymond. This would be going against Pinnacle here. Interesting. So you can see FanDuel is really the only sports book outside of Canby that is really bullish on the under on Draymond. And they haven't had a ton of movement. They've just been kind of chilling in this area the whole time. So this is interesting to me, but you could bet this on Pinnacle. You can get it at Bet 105. It's not as good. It's okay, but I'm not going to grab that at Bet 105 because it's a massive difference in payout. Bobby Portis under on his points with the Bucks tonight. This is an ARB to FanDuel. That means one book screwed up. If we're looking at the under here, again, FanDuel's had some movement, not a ton, right? A little bit. Not much either from Pinnacle. ProfitX is chilling, so if you believe this, you could do it. I've heard some people have poor results when they go after the exchanges when it's like this with FanDuel, meaning that it's an ARB and they don't always have a great time, but something you can definitely think on and check out. A lot of first quarter player points. You can see this with ESPN Bet. You can see that FanDuel and ESPN Bet, guys, are always disagreeing. So what I would tell you is that if you're not betting first quarter player points, but this is something that you want to try, then this is a pretty clear outlier, right? You can see that FanDuel and ESPN Bet disagree all the time on this market. So just start, if you want to get into this, start betting ESPN first quarter player points. Seems like we're always betting the unders as well, right? Like this seems to be like a, we're always betting unders on ESPN Bet for first quarter player points. This might be something that we want to attack, right? Because these are all over 5% plays. So when I come over here and I just say, you know what, just show me all the book, just show me ESPN Bet. And what you're going to notice is there's 12 options. And quite a few of these are first quarter player points, all unders on the first quarter player points. So this is something where something has to give here. The ESPN Bet just changed their odds on Desmond Bain. So this is, in my opinion, maybe something that I want to start going after. Someone asked me a couple days ago if I bet this market. I typically don't. But like clearly, this is like a really simple edge that you might be able to uncover, right? These are things that I look for. These are things that we talk about with coaching. Like, hey man, just simplify the process. If you're starting to see that ESPN Bet disagrees with FanDuel, that means one book's normally going to be right and one book's normally most likely going to be wrong, right? Not always the case, but this could be the case here. And we're seeing that ESPN Bet is constantly changing their odds while FanDuel isn't. So that tells me that the book that you want to attack is ESPN because they're screwing these first quarter player points up time and time again. What's going on, Saints fam? But that's going to be the stream for today, guys. And I will be on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. I know it didn't happen today. It will happen tomorrow. Promise you that. 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow and then 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow evening. We have Game 6 of the World Series. We're going to have more hockey and more NBA for sure. A little college football as well. You guys have an awesome evening. May all your bets hit. We'll talk again soon. Take care.